half man, half beast? What the hell are you doing?
Oh my god, I can't believe this. My dad is Chupacabra.
Written and directed by Scott McGillis. We are talking Mexican Werewolf in Texas, also known as Mexican Werewolf. And surprise, this isn't actually a werewolf movie. No, in fact, this is a movie about a Chupacabra. I presume they just changed it to a Mexican Werewolf to try and obviously link it to American Werewolf in London. But it's nothing to do with a werewolf. So a little bit misleading there. But what is the story? Well, it focuses on this small Texan town in the middle of nowhere. It's very cut off. And apparently, I think it's called Furlough, and it's the world's #1 hotspot for goats. So obviously, this attracts the Chupacabra, the goat sucker, as it's sometimes known. And it focuses on a group of people in this town, primarily this kind of group of young adults, teens, a couple of other people like the local vet, a couple of other people, as they are dealing with this situation. And we get this panic, effectively, in this kind of town, where no one obviously quite knows what it is. They don't believe that it's a Chupacabra, first of all. They think it's coyotes and stuff, but the kind of the legend of the Chupacabra is that it doesn't attack humans, it only really kills goats. But this one is starting to attack humans, and why is that? And you'll find out the reason. And this is all taking place in a backdrop of prejudice from the Americans against the kind of the Mexican people that are kind of living there. So there is this kind of racial tensions within this kind of community. What will happen? You'll have to watch the movie and find out. So let's discuss what I think works in this movie. There are a couple of sort of smarter elements here that I liked. I actually kind of quite like the backdrop of this kind of this racial tensions within this community, because I think it gives it a little bit more of a serious edge. Because the movie outside of that plays a little goofy, but having this kind of more serious tensions between the kind of the two communities in this town, I think makes the movie have a little bit more gravitas, although it's really not to do with a werewolf or Chupacabra. Although they don't do loads with it, to be honest with you, there's just kind of a little bit of, you know, side eye and back talk every so often. But nonetheless, I thought it gave it a little bit more sort of drama in the movie. Another kind of just idea that I kind of quite liked was the reason, and I won't say what it is, but there is a reason why the Chupacabra is attacking humans, you know, as well as kind of goats and stuff. And it becomes apparent. I thought, well, do you know what? It kind of makes sense to a degree in film logic. But, you know, I thought, you know, that's a fair reason. And again, I thought it was relatively smart in doing that to a certain degree. I will say that this is a lower budget movie, and we have to give some leeway when we say this, but I actually did quite like the costume of this kind of monster, this Chupacabra. Now, it is a guy in a suit, and when it's kind of running, it looks like it's just a guy scurrying around on the ground, and, you know, it looks like, you know, obviously a human, so it looks like it's running around on all fours. It's not its natural position. But nonetheless, I did still quite enjoy this suit. Now, it's similar to a werewolf, but I think the mouth, for example, it lends itself more to, you know, a different kind of species, so it looks a little different. I kind of quite liked it, and I did like the way this creature is treated like an animal. It is treated more like an animal. It acts like an animal. It doesn't act like a kind of sentient, kind of human thinking sort of creature. It is just acting like an animal. You know, a cryptid, you might say. But yeah, that was, again, made it for a little bit more. It just acts like a kind of wild animal. So it shows up here and there, but I don't know if we got a super good look at it. But yeah, it just kind of comes out of the darkness. We kind of see it with the POV shot every so often with this kind of like effect. And I thought they sort of kept it in darkness enough where you can't sort of critique the suit too much, but it's, you know, it pops out, attacks people. I don't mind the suit. I thought it looked okay. And I actually think it was used relatively well. So what doesn't work in this movie? I have to say the whole tone of the movie is a little bit goofy, but the story seems very inconsequential, to be honest. It doesn't really have a whole lot of plot. It's just there's a couple of animal attacks in this village, this town, and the people go and hunt it. That's it. Nothing else is really done with the plot. It's very like lightweight in regards to an actual sort of narrative. And then we have these like dopey teens that are like kind of Valley Girl type, some of them. And it's just a little silly, I have to say, in regards to its sort of weird tone. And you juxtapose that with the racial connotations and things, and I don't know, it has a weird sort of tone. I'd also say the movie's shot poorly in some sequences. There's a lot of close-ups, a lot of quick edits, and sort of awkward transitions. So the movie feels somewhat sort of choppy in regards to its visuals when it's presenting it visually. So, you know, you'll sort of see really kind of quick shots, and you sort of see a close-up of someone's face, or it's like something moving around, and I suppose the idea here is to give you the idea of chaos and confusion and just kind of like panic, but it just kind of looks a little bit kind of choppy at times. As I said, I did quite like the monster design, but at the end of the day, you know, we're meant to believe this is a creature that runs around on all fours, but it's obviously just a guy bent down, so its biology doesn't make sense in that regard. It wouldn't have the sort of, you know, the limbs of a human if it's a creature that's running around on all fours. Had it been bipedal, it would make more sense. So that's, again, it's trying to kind of make it animalistic, but it's the budget only lets it do so much, so it kind of doesn't really look. I mean, just imagine a guy running around on all fours. Effectively, that's kind of what it looks like. So it's not a particularly thrilling movie, I have to be honest. I don't think it really is as gory as it could have been. It feels like a kind of a made-for TV movie with, like, you know, fade-outs for commercial breaks and things. The characters are pretty much non-existent. You know, there's like, when a character dies, there seems to be not a huge reaction by people. I mean, there's like, oh, this is my best friend, and they get killed, and there's no reaction. The acting, you know, isn't brilliant, effectively, is kind of what I'm saying there, but just the way that it's written as well, the characters are written, just don't really make a huge amount of kind of sense. So overall, I think it's not a car wreck, but it's pretty unremarkable. I'll give this one a 4 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Please leave me a comment, and I shall look forward to you next time.